Why, hello there and welcome back to a new video again with your friend Proletarian. Again, I am here. Lately I've been quite busy at the moment, so I haven't uploaded quite a lot. I know I used to upload like a week ago or something, or 2 weeks ago. I upload like 2 times a week or 3 times. I kinda have to spurge the content a bit because I'm kind of busy at the moment, have to deal with a lot of stuff. Nothing hard, nothing bad, nothing like wrong or something, just like I'm just doing a lot of stuff at the moment, and so I'm kind of busy with doing something more like freelancer kind of, and so I kind of have to do some improvised content like this video, obviously, because in this video we're going to talk about Silksong starting town, also known as Bonebottom. Now, for those of you who don't know, again, the 2 people who don't know, because most of you probably have watched either all the content regarding Silksong or at least know most of it, Bonebottom is Silksong's starting town. Kind of like Dirtmouth was the starting town for, well, the first Hollow Knight game. And I mean, Dirtmouth kind of was like the main town. I mean, City of Tears was kind of like a town a bit, but there weren't a lot of shops there really. I mean, Nailsmiths and Lem, I guess that's something. Dirtmouth was kind of like where you could like meet all the NPCs you've basically met throughout your journey, like Cloth, Tiso, Zod, Breda, Brum or Nim. Both of them kinda. Elderbug, of course, Sly, Cornifer, and Zelda. Though Cornifer, if you met him in the village, he was asleep, so you couldn't really talk to him. And yeah, it was kind of like the main hub, and honestly one of the best aspects, because Dirtmouth was like kind of relaxing, because every time you went back up and stuff, and it was just so good to feel like in a safe space, kind of safe space. I don't know what to call it basically, but basically you went up to your old home kinda, and you met all these good bugs, these friendly bugs, no enemies, and it was just calm. It was just fine, okay? It was good feeling, relaxing also. The music is great too. And Bonebottom might be the same, though as we already know, there are going to be a lot more villages and towns than what we have seen like from the first game. So even though Dirtmouth was like the starting town, the main town, there's going to be a lot more like bigger towns in Silksong, with more NPCs to meet and more characters to come by, pilgrims on their way, maybe the caravan, Chakra of course, and we're going to see a lot of recurring faces, I believe. And Bonebottom is basically the first of that kind, one of the more simpler villages, I would say. Comparing its looks, if we, like from the screenshots we have of it, which I probably will show on screen, if this is Bonebottom, which it looks to be, then it's going to be a lot more simpler and a lot more, I would say, more caveman-like compared to the bigger towns we're going to see later on, like the Gilded City or the one close to the Citadel, which I'll also probably show on screen again. And this kind of also neatly fits with another, well, theory I've been going for, like the Pilgrim theory and also the classes theory, which is basically that the further you go up, the more civilizational and technological and stuff it gets, and also maybe smarter bugs along the way. We have 2 screenshots which I would like to discuss. One is of the town of Bonebottom, which most people think is Bonebottom, which is basically like a sort of mini area with like a big Lumafly lantern in the middle of the room, and in the background you can see moss and caves, and also like a giant bony structure, which will help us to identify the second screenshot as part of Bonebottom, or at least being close to Bonebottom. And you can basically see these kind of leather type huts, sort of caveman like not very progressed, I would say, on a civilizational level. And the bugs who are living in this little village also don't look that well advanced, I would say. They wear like small kind of cloth around their bodies, like wrapped around them, and they have more simpler kind of style to them, I would say. They have like just a normal design, nothing extravagant or something I would say is a bit more complex, like the design we have of Chakra, or even of some of the pilgrims, which we see later on. And they seem to be in this little village, and I don't really see like a shop, which is a bit weird, because I don't like seeing a hut you can maybe enter. Like maybe the one on the right, but that's kind of iffy. I would say that the main portion of the village even maybe is to the left or to the right. That this is just basically like a small starting area. If this would be the entire town, then we don't have really any shops to go by. which would kind of suck. But maybe there's going to be a quest board somewhere close to it, which I assume that like the quest boards are going to be in like these gathering places and towards more of the towns and villages. And what we see in this scene is basically the Bonebottom village getting attacked by a giant black creature, which I've already mentioned a few times before. And these creatures have kind of always nagged me a bit in the wrong way. Because people like to pull the void card, obviously, and black equals void, obviously, for most fans. And I wouldn't say they're void, but they do look a bit weird. They don't like fit into the design which I have attributed to the other enemies so far, like the ones in the Moss Grotto which you usually meet. You can see a few of them in the Deep Docks or the Forest of Bones. So maybe it's like kind of like the cultists, that they're like all across the kingdom and you see them everywhere. That might be possible. That it's just like a wider group of enemies, perhaps. And you basically see this giant creature attacking one of the villagers, or like at least smashing one of them out of the way, probably dead, which is kind of sad. And in the foreground you can even see a small animation of one of these villagers ducking, which I also might show on screen. It's like really cool type of animation, like having both the background of some of the villagers like ducking themselves and like one in the foreground. That's like super cool. I really enjoyed that. I have only noticed that recently because somebody mentioned it to me, and I found that really cool. Now, but if we talk more about the area and where it's placed, we can obviously say that it's going to be close to the Bonebottom, obviously to Moss Grotto because of the moss in the area. So it's obviously going to be in the starter area, which makes sense, starting town, so it's going to be close to the beginning, of course. And but it might also be linked to the Forest of Bones, I'm pretty sure. One, because the floor has kind of like this bone-like feel to it and structure. Second, because you can also see giant bone structures in the background. One is covered with like leaves, and one is even bigger, which, I mean, what kind of shit produced these giant bones? Was that like a giant dead bug or something? Maybe even a worm? I mean, that's probably, nah, probably not, but I mean, it would be kind of a cool thing to hear that from some NPC, like, yeah, there was this giant bug, basically, which left its giant bones here, and that's basically the area. Like, Jesus Christ, that must have been enormous. And we can also see the tents or huts using some bone-like features basically at the top, which could look kind of like teepees. I mean, it just looked kind of similar from what I've seen, but again, I might be off. And the other screenshot which we have is also linked with these big bone structures, which we can see in the background, which is of Hornet. This was in the dialogue section of one of the Team Cherry's blog posts, where you can see a small bug, kind of similar to Menderbug. Like, it also has like this cloth around its body. It has more, I would say, a different head from the other villagers, but I mean, it looks very similar to them. And it also looks quite happy. I mean, this could be its face, but it looks kind of happy, like building something. And Hornet's talking to it with a dialogue box reading, "What is this you're building? A sign of some kind?" Which again makes it kind of like a Menderbug kind of bug. They seem quite happy at work. And on the left we can also see another bug, kind of more a slug bug or something, which also has like this cloth around its body. And I think we've seen one of them also in the a few screenshots and snippets of the reveal trailer in the Moss Grotto, which I'm probably also going to show on screen again. I like to show things on screen. And what we can also see, which is really interesting, is for one, the big bone structures in the background, which might say that like the screenshot we'd seen before, or analyzed before, is to the left, and the further we go down to the right, it devolves more into this bony structure with less moss, and it might go into the Forest of Bones. So that's like obviously kind of the point where it descends from the Moss Grotto to the Forest of Bones, which is really cool. And we can also see some leather huts basically, which is the best part because it links it back to the village, and we can also see some of them in the background. So my firm guess is this is part of Bonebottom, or at least used to be part of it, or of the starting village, which we don't know the name of, but I think it's Bonebottom. And we can also see some kind of things wrapped in something, which is really interesting. Looks like cargo being lost. I don't know. Again, some bones on the left. It looks really cool, looks really interesting. And it's still like this kind of caveman-like type, like less on the civilizational leather, which is really interesting for me. I love this kind of progression it has. And the background also looks kind of a bit warmer, maybe I would say. So maybe the lava is kind of close to it. Definitely in the Forest of Bones, which has a lot of lava type areas, so that would of course make sense. So this was basically my short analysis of the two screenshots we have for Bonebottom. Again, I'm kind of iffy about how big this village is going to be on what's going to be in it, because as I said before, we haven't seen a shop. We've seen a few NPCs which we can probably talk to, but we haven't seen a shop. We have, as of yet, not seen a quest board in it, which I most likely assume is going to be close to it. And perhaps even the moss druid is close to it, maybe, of the temple. I don't know. Could be. Again, I'm just linking sorts together, and the bugs all look very similar. Again, not very advanced, but that's just my kind of speculation on it. So I definitely think these areas are close to each other. Are probably part of the same structure. Maybe the second one is like kind of where Bonebottom used to expand to before it was like driven away from something, which is going to be interesting to like see in the game, if like the ants are fighting the people from Bonebottom, or if it's kind of like the mantis warriors fighting against the deep nest creatures. That's going to be really cool to see, I hope. We also have like a kind of a music, a theme for Bonebottom, which is really somber, which I kind of thought, I don't know if it kind of fits, because again, these look like kind of a more fun village, not like really dark or something forgotten, but the music is really great. Like it's like this somber, kind of slower, relaxing theme. For the village, if it is the village, and if it's going to play when we're there, and maybe even a card's going to show up Bonebottom, oh damn, that would be fantastic. I'm really excited for again. I'm hyping myself up while talking about this. So there is also a quest regarding a citizen of Bonebottom known as Grunby of Bonebottom, where he basically explains that his family curse has again brought him in peril, because now there are kind of pilgrims before his home, and they are attacking him whenever he comes to them, and he's probably stuck at home, and now Horn has to come save him, kill him, and that's it. Now, interesting enough, a few things. This is a mission or a quest which you can take in the city, not in Bonebottom, so again, you kind of have to take, you can take missions from anywhere for any area, so that's cool, I guess. This makes it more open, I assume, that you don't have to go to Bonebottom to take a Bonebottom mission, but you can take it everywhere, even close to the Citadel maybe. And second, it's a hunt mission, which is also really interesting, because again, you'll probably maybe get like a boss or a mini-boss with this troop that you kind of have to fight rounds of pilgrims, or at least multiple of them. Because I kind of imagine that it's going to be a bit more than just kill 5 enemies and that's it. It's going to be probably like a horde of pilgrims which you have to like kill, and maybe there's like a mini boss or something. Anyway, it just sounds cool, and I kind of feel sad because Grunby of Bonebottom is probably also a character we're going to meet there, and he's probably like the unlucky guy. That's kind of what I believe the curse is about. That it's not like the actual curse, the haunting in Farloom, but more his family kind of unlucky charm, or that they're just cursed with being unlucky. I guess that's kind of his deal, and probably have to help him out a few times, and that's going to be very cool again. So that's the one character we know from Bonebottom, actually, and I hope I'm excited. I am very excited. I'm getting hyped again. So, my dear viewer, tell me your things about, or your opinions about Bonebottom in the comments below, and speak soon. Farewell.